The following content contains discussions or mentions of suicide, which may be distressing or triggering to some individuals. Kindly proceed with caution. I fell for the stranger who fell from the bridge. Come on! Come on! I said with bated breath and sweat as I pressed on his chest of the lifeless man that I had pulled out of the water. I was hoping I had pulled him out just in time. I increased pressure and force on my chest compression. He lay underneath me, my pressing hand still, cold and lifeless. Marcel, you can do this! I thought to myself. Just one last good deed before you go. About 10 minutes before it all happened, there was tranquility and peace. It was just me drinking a bottle of liquor on my rickety boat, drifting aimlessly some distance away from the overhead bridge. I had hoped that with the bottle and the 10 other bottles, I would drink myself to a stupor and fall into the river and drown. Yep, I had hit rock bottom and just wanted to end it all. I owed a huge debt that I had lost to bed and booze. Every week, I went home with wounds because of the loan shark I had borrowed from was always after me. My landlord was threatening to evict me, while my dad and I remained struggling fishermen. I wanted to leave, to escape forever. Eventually, I picked a day. I thought it was right to end it. I wanted to do it in my boat while drinking. After a while, I opened a bottle of liquor and suddenly heard screeching noises from the bridge. Sounded like a car was losing control until I heard the sound of the collision. I couldn't really see what was going on, but I knew it was an accident. The scene distracted me for a few minutes until I remembered I had something to do. There was nothing I could do, and I didn't even care. I was about to take another gulp when I saw someone falling fast from the bridge towards the water. It was a man screaming his lungs out. He was silenced by the water. For a couple of seconds, I couldn't see any sign of him, until his head rose out of the water, gurgling and begging for help, while the water stifled his voice. He really couldn't swim. Help! This is really not your business, Marcel, I said to myself. Keep drinking, boy. I didn't even give myself the space to think. I just knew that I found myself taking my shoes off, and the next thing I jumped in began to swim towards him as fast as I could. Just as soon as I saw his head disappear under the ripple, I dove in. I caught a glimpse of his face as I brought him out of the water. I saw that he was bleeding. As I brought him to the shore, I bent on my knees and began the CPR process. For a while, I didn't know that I was being watched by a couple of people. I was hoping so badly to hear him cough out the water. 4 passing minutes. It seemed as if I was failing at what I was doing. My strength was slowly leaving my body. Suddenly, he coughed, and then hope was restored to my face. He coughed till the water came out. I could hear the breaths of relief from the surrounding audience. At first, he looked confused, but the befuddled frown on his face slowly eased out after he had the last cough, and then stared at me. Those blue eyes of his had me lost for a second. I could swear that he was the most beautiful man I had ever met. You saved my life, he suddenly exclaimed. Thank you so much. You are welcome, I replied, smiling as I helped him to his feet. He winced as soon as he was erect, and then I noticed he was bleeding from his head. I took off my shirt quickly, and then placed it in his hand to stop the bleeding. Thank you, he said. He smiled dreamily at me. I gave him a weary smile before walking away. Some minutes later, I was being asked questions by the police about what happened, while I stole glances at the man I had just saved. He sat in the patient compartment of the ambulance, staring back with a smile, while his head was being wrapped with bandages. Is that all that happened? The policeman asked, while scribbling in his notepad. Yes, I replied. He thanked me and went on his way. I was startled as I turned to see the stranger standing beside me with a smile that had not faded. Hi, he said. I still can't thank you enough for saving me. I could have died if you weren't there. Nah, I'm pretty sure someone would have jumped in if they'd saw you, I responded. But you were just in time to save me. Thank you. You're like a hero, he said. And there was a little awkward silence. I'm sorry. I've been babbling. My name is Noah. He stretched forth his hand to shake mine. I reluctantly received his handshake and said, Marcel. Thank you, Marcel, for saving my life, he said. It was about the third or fourth time he was thanking me. I smiled at him and turned to be on my way when he said, Please, can I have your contact? Why? So he can kill me with your thank yous, I asked. Maybe, he said with a nervous smile. It wouldn't be bad if we became friends, would it? I gave him a long look, admiring his angelic look, like an art piece, before I replied, Nope, there's no need for that. I turned my back and left him speechless. 4 days later, I was going back to that river again, with more liquor to knock myself out. I was hoping there wasn't going to be something or somebody to stop me like last time. For 4 days, I had thought that Noah incident was a sign for me to rethink what I was doing, and to check if there was any reason for me to stay alive. I even attended a friend's birthday party. I wouldn't have been there at that party if Noah hadn't fallen into the water. I did routine things, like brushing my teeth or having a bath with a little energy. I was not going to work, and that I was giving my father the excuse that I was sick. My landlord threatened to send me away again. And I was attacked in the alley, again, by my loan shark. I lost all essence to live, so I wanted to go ahead with my original plan. So I popped the cap of the bottle to take a gulp. I heard someone shout, Marcel! I turned my head to where the shout came from, and I saw it was someone on the bridge. He was waving at me. Ugh. I groaned as I recognized the person as Noah. What is this dude's problem? Why is he always spoiling my plans, I thought. Hi, he said to me. How did he even know where to find me, I asked myself. I'm coming over to you. What? I pretended as if I didn't hear him. He didn't respond. But I saw him run down the bridge to where it met the bank of the river. I'm sure as hell that if he could swim, he would have made his way to me by that time. I was judging by the way he was testing the water with his feet. He had come to spoil my plans again. I turned the boat around towards him. As I came down from the boat, I stared into his eyes, and I couldn't find a way to detach those eyes from him. His face was still mesmerizing, as I had seen that day. He was still the most beautiful man I had seen. I've been looking for you everywhere, he said, as he watched me sit. I've searched everywhere, but something told me that you'd be here. Why are you looking for me, I asked. I just wanted to see you again, and thank you, he said. You've done that enough, I said, as I stood to my feet and started to walk to my boat. Are you leaving, he said, and I nodded. Can I at least get your number? No, I said. Please, Marcel, let me get your number. All right, I said. I told him my number, but the last digit was wrong. I went back to my boat and left. He waved to me as I went farther from him. I wanted it to be the last time I would see him, and at the same time I wanted to see him again. What's wrong with you, Marcel? 2 days later, my father found out I was lying about my sickness and told me to come to work. He told me to come meet him at the fish market. I reluctantly went to his office and saw that he wasn't there. I had no choice but to wait. I saw a half-drunk bottle of liquor by the side of his table and decided to entertain myself with it till he comes back. As I took a swig of liquor, someone's voice startled me and I almost spat out what was in my mouth. I turned back and saw Noah? What the hell are you doing here? Did you follow me here? I asked with a frown. No, he said gleefully. I work here. This is my boss's office. What are you doing here? What? I asked, with utter shock. You work for my father. Mr. Costello is your father? He asked. Yeah, I replied, still shocked to my bones. Wow, what a small world, he exclaimed. What? Noah works here. What the hell? I could not believe it. The man I had saved was working for my father? Crazy. That's great, he said as he moved closer to me. By the way, I called the number you gave me and discovered it was wrong. I looked down at my feet and smiled. Yeah. Right. Is that the only lie you've told me? Is your name really Marcel, he asked. My name is Marcel, I said. You are the one my dad keeps talking about, huh? What? What has Mr. Costello said about me? That you're like a son to him. A better son than me, I guess. At last, I've come face to face with you, I said. And in the most crazy way, he replied. Oh, yeah. There was an awkward silence from both of us. Tell my father I was here. All right. Before you leave, what's your correct number? He said with a smile. I stared at him, contemplating whether to tell him or not. Every other number is correct except for the last. Change it to a 6. All right. Thank you. He smiled and waved slightly at me. I replied with a smile. Later that evening, I was about to leave my apartment to get a drink when my phone beeped. It was a message. Hi. This is Noah, the message said. I sighed and slid my phone back into the pocket and reached for the door. My phone beeped again. I took it out one more time to check it. It was nice seeing you again, he said. I fought the urge to reply, until he sent another message that said, I think this is our cue to become friends. What cue? I typed back. We have met 3 times, twice by coincidence, he replied. I see. How was your day? He asked. Why are you interested? I'm just finding a way to be your friend, he replied. Why would you want to be my friend? I asked. He replied with a question. Why not? I rolled my eyes and sighed. I'm not sure I want a friend, I texted back. We'll see about that. You might be the hardest nut to crack, but I'll crack you, he said confidently. So confident that you'd be my friend, are you? Yeah, 100%, he responded. I smiled a little. Oh, okay, I said. So, how was your day? He asked. I grinned as I typed my reply to him. It wouldn't hurt to chat a little, right? Uneventful. You? Mine was stressful, he replied. Then he proceeded to tell me everything that happened at work. How he slipped while working, and then he was told he smelled like fish at the grocery store after leaving work. Suddenly, I became aware of myself. I realized that I was sitting on the ground, resting my back against the door I was supposed to close behind me. I had forgotten about the drink. As I made an effort to stand to my feet and get that drink, his message rang on my phone, and from there, I forgot myself was on the ground. We continued chatting into the night, till he said, I need to go to sleep. I have work tomorrow. Oh, I guess it's good night then, I replied. To be honest, I didn't want it to end, but it had to end. Yeah, one of these days, maybe we should go for a coffee or something, he said. Maybe not, I said. Good night, Marcel, he replied, and that was the end. For passing minutes, I was staring and thinking about how nice it was to speak with Noah. I was in that position until I slept off. 2 days later, I went to the fish market to see my father. I wanted to secretly see Noah again. I was speaking with my father when I saw Noah walk past at a distance. He had his shirt off and was all shiny from the sweat. I could see all of his solid build as he carried things from here to there. Everything my father was saying bounced off my head. Did you get what I said? My father asked. Yes, I got it. I lied. Okay, good, my father replied and walked away. I stayed there in a spot drooling until Noah noticed. He walked up to me with a smile. Hey, I stuttered. Hi, where did you come from? He asked. Not too long. I came to see my father. Oh, can you please wait? It's almost time for my lunch break. Do you think we can get coffee or something? Coffee? I didn't like the taste of coffee, but there was something about Noah that was making me do things I didn't want to do. All right. I'll wait, I said. Okay, thanks. See you in a couple of minutes, he said as he walked away with a smile. We went to a diner on the other side of the road. Either the coffee affected me, or it was Noah. I was speaking with Noah longer and more freely than I normally did. Then there was a silent moment where we just slipped. Then I broke the silence with a question. You ever wonder if you were broken in ways you can't fix? He stared at me intently and replied, Sometimes. But maybe broken doesn't mean worthless. What is broken can be fixed, I guess. Yeah. Maybe, I said. Then we stared at each other for a while till the waiter came to ask us if we wanted a refill. No, thank you. We'll be on our way, he said, reaching for his wallet. I realized as I stared at him that he managed to crack me like he promised. He was only waiting patiently for me to come out of my shell. The time I knew that Noah had successfully cracked me was when he took me along with him to get a haircut. I remember how hard I tried to hide how flattered I was when he told me I looked more handsome. My father even told me I seemed happier around Noah, and that he'd love me for it. I could also see the change in myself. I started coming to work and becoming more happy. At the same time, I was denying the feeling that was growing in me. There was something about him that caused butterflies in my belly. Sometimes, we found ourselves staring at each other like we wanted to kiss each other. Gosh, he had effortlessly broken down my fences. One night, Noah begged me to follow him on a night walk, which I agreed reluctantly. We stopped at an ice cream shop, and he turned to me after he had made his own order. What flavor do you like? He asked. Just get me any, I said. It had been a long while since I took ice cream. Booze had been my only companion for the longest time. No. Which one do you like? You have to choose, he insisted. Strawberry, I said. With chocolate toppings and mini marshmallows, I replied. He smiled at me, and I slowly mirrored him. Here you go, the vendor interrupted us, stretching the ice cream cones towards us. We received it, and Noah paid before I could reach my wallet. We walked down the street laughing. I was speaking more words than I usually did, and felt so alive. When Noah touched my hand in an attempt to hold my hand, I let my fingers lock in between his own fingers, while goosebumps spread all across my skin as we walked further. Soon, we were at the bridge, looking down at the water in the moonlight. We were back again at the place we first met. I remember it like it was yesterday when I was gurgling in this water. It comes to my memory when I shower every morning, Noah said, and I chuckled. I think that's the spot where we can see the moon's reflection, I said. Pointing, he began to laugh and I joined him. Slowly, our laughter died down as our eyes settled on each other. I felt goosebumps all over my body again. I watched him come closer to me, and I didn't stop him till his lips touched mine. It was like I was in heaven for a moment, until he detached his lips. Why did you stop? I asked him. He was speaking, and then I shut him up with a passionate kiss. He held my face and I held his, while everything clicked off like a switch. It was just us alone. We were on our way home, when suddenly, someone stopped us at the alley. On a closer look, I recognized the person was the loan shark. He was with some other guys. I knew how this was going to end up, so I pushed Noah behind me. My money or your face. Choose one, Marcel, the loan shark said. Wait, what's going on? Noah asked, befuddled. Leave us. Stay out of this, idiot, or you'll regret it, he said. Then he turned to me. I take it that your silence means you want me to reconstruct your face. Then before I could blink, he gave me a dazzling punch that fell me down. Marcel, Noah yelled with fear. "It's okay," I said weakly. Then I saw him walk towards the loan shark with a strange boldness. "No, Noah! What are you doing?" Right before my eyes, I saw Noah fight with the loan shark and his boys. He must have known karate, or was an ex-soldier for him to have beaten them all without them touching him? All I heard was the groans and screams. "I will get you later, Marcel," the loan shark said, and his boys scampered away. I was still in shock at what I had just seen, until Noah came and raised me to my feet. "Are you okay?" Noah asked me. Yeah, I stuttered. "How did you do that?" "I know a little karate." "That was crazy! Wow! Thank you so much," I said to him. "I guess we're even now." Then I chuckled. He walked with me until I got to the apartment. We said goodbye and he went on his way. For a couple nights, he made it his obligation to always accompany me. The loan shark and his boys dared not to touch me at any time they saw us. It was nice that I could always go home in one piece. One day I asked him, "Why don't we go to your place?" "Nah, it's really far from here." "It doesn't matter to me," I said. "Let's go there." "Maybe another time," he said. "Don't want me to come over?" I asked. "I do. Don't worry. We'll go there very soon," he said. That was not the only time we had that conversation. His reply was always the same. It was like he was hiding something from me. There was this night he accompanied me home. After he said goodbye, he went on his way, but I didn't go immediately, because I had other plans. I stealthily followed him. I followed him back to the train station, and followed behind him until he'd entered the back seat of an exotic car that it seemed like it was waiting for him. What? My curiosity drove me to secretly follow him till I saw the car drive into an exotic mansion. I was so confused. I saw the man bow to him through the gate. My eyes widened in shock at what I saw. Noah was actually a rich man? Was he an undercover agent or something? Does he work for the CIA? I was asking myself these questions over and over again until I got home. I couldn't sleep. I could not stop thinking. I was thinking I was either in love with an undercover agent or a liar. The following day, I tried hard not to show Noah the dilemma happening in my head. But he got to notice. As he walked home with me, he said, "You're oddly silent. Are you okay?" "Yeah, I stuttered. "I'm just tired." "Oh, sorry about that," he said. "Thanks," I replied, and then I went mute. "How much do you owe?" he asked. "A lot," I said. "Why are you asking?" I was just wondering if he knew what I knew. "How much?" he asked again. I was reluctant to answer. "About 60 grand or more," I said to him, embarrassed. "How about I pay for everything?" he questioned. "Pay everything?" I said. I looked at him intently. "You sound like you're rich." "No, I just have savings." "Savings?" I chuckled. "Stop messing with me, Noah. Is there something I need to know?" "What do you mean by that?" he asked, perplexed. "I know why you didn't want me to come over to your place, Noah," I said with anger. "I followed you yesterday. You've been lying to me." His face changed from confusion to remorse. He tried to touch me, but I moved from him. He tried to apologize to me, but I told him to explain himself. "The truth is, I'm a wealthy businessman. I've been privileged my whole life, Marcel." "I wanted to know what it means not to be," he said. "Why?" I asked with confusion. "You could say I'm just on a journey of self-discovery. I want to know who I am without the money." "Really?" "Yeah. It would be wicked of me if I was getting a salary from your father. So each time he pays me, I find a way to return it into his coat, or somewhere else he doesn't suspect I'm the one." "So it was you all along?" I asked. My father was always saying his guardian angel gave him money every month. I thought it was dementia. Yes, he said. I couldn't believe my ears. I'm sorry, Marcel. I don't know how to react to this. Honestly. Noah, I said. Please forgive me. I might have lied about who I am. But my love for you is true. You and your corny lines. This is not the time for that, Noah, I said, annoyed. I'm serious, Mas, he said, but I cut him short. I need to sleep this off. I can go from here, I said. Marcel! Just go home, Noah, he said. All right, he said, reluctantly, and started to walk away. He then suddenly turned to say, a car will be here to pick you up tomorrow. I wanted to ask him why, but I didn't bother. I was still shocked by what he told me. The next day, truly, a car came to pick me up the next morning. It was an exotic one, like the kind I saw Noah enter that night. At first, I was unwilling until Noah put the call through to me. I followed and was brought to the same mansion. The gates opened without any human assistance. With awe, I watched the beauty of the house from the windows as the car drove in. The fountain, the carefully trimmed garden, and the flowers were a sight to behold as I came down from the car. Eventually, I was at the foot of the stairs that led to the front door, which opened as soon as I took the first step. As I walked into the beauty of the building, I saw a man in a three-piece suit smiling at me from afar. Welcome, Mr. Marcel. Mr. Brooke has been waiting for you, he said and pointed to the way. So, Noah Brooke. Interesting, I thought. I walked with his guidance to the exquisite living room to see Noah waiting for me. He was clean and elegant, different from the way he looked in his work clothes at the fish market. I couldn't lie. I was shocked. You look different, I said. Yeah. Yep, I said, and sat on the plush chair, basking in its comfort. Care for a drink, he asked, pointing at the bottle of wine in between the two glasses on the table before him. Sure. He poured wine into the glasses and handed one to me. Well fits you, I said, as I sipped. I don't know why you would leave all these to work at a fish market. We stared at each other and said nothing after my words. Am I forgiven? He asked. What am I here for, Noah? I asked. I want to apologize properly, he asked. Really? I think you should be on your knees then, I said. He stared at me for a while, wanting to know if I was joking or not. He stood in front of his seat, fall onto his knees, but I stopped him. Don't you know a joke? I asked. I told you, I wanted to apologize properly, he said and smiled. What about my offer to pay off your debts? I stared at him intently and asked, why are you doing this? Is it not obvious? I'm in love with you, he said. I gave him no reply and looked at one side of the big living room. This is too good to be true. We met at the river. You're working with my father. You're a wealthy man. At this point, you'll tell me you're an angel. Or are you? Yes, I am, Marcel, he said briefly. Yeah, I was sent to you, but I fell in love with you while on the job, he said. I stared at him with a doubtful look. Stop, I said. I'm kidding. It was a joke. I don't know what it is, Marcel, but all I know it's pure coincidence, he replied. There's no way this is real. I don't think I want to accept your offer. It's too good to be true, I said. Why? He asked with confusion. I don't know. What do you want in return? Usually when these things happen, they always want something in return. What do you want? What? He asked with bewilderment. What do you want in return? I repeated. Nothing. I don't want anything. Do I have to have a reason before doing so apart from the fact that I love you? I don't know, Noah. I don't want to be a philanthropy project, I replied. Philanthropy project? Really, Marcel? Noah asked. I'm just doing it to help. I'm doing it because I love you. Is that wrong? I'm not worthy of love, Noah. My life is in shambles already. It's too late to be saved. I'm sorry. I don't need your help, I said to him. I stood to my feet and dropped the wine glass. Marcel, he muttered. I walked away while he kept calling my name. Things were awkward between Noah and me after that day. He tried to speak to me and I found it really hard to always give him a reply. The guilt kept eating me up. I was having relentless days and sleepless nights because Noah wouldn't leave my head. I kept wondering if it was right for rejecting his offer. He was always trying to help you, Marcel. Why are you acting this way? I didn't understand myself. Weeks before, my life was like a black and white movie. I was thinking of ending it all before Noah came into my life and changed everything. I could say he brought color to my life and made me happier. I began to think I was probably stupid for rejecting his help. No, you are stupid for doing so. How come you didn't see it? You were looking for a sign and a reason to stay alive. Now you found it, but you're rejecting it? What the hell, Marcel? I was truly stupid. Gosh, Marcel, you nitwit. After fighting the thought for minutes, I picked up the phone and dialed his number. I waited patiently till he picked up the call. Hi. Please don't hang up, I said. Now you remember me, he asked. He sounded annoyed. I'm sorry, Noah. I'm really sorry. Please, give me a chance to apologize properly. Can we meet at the bridge at 9, I said. I'm not sure. I have work. Please. Noah, please. I begged. Okay, fine, he said reluctantly. Thank you so much, I said. I couldn't even wait for the morning to break, just to see Noah. I even went early to the bridge, practicing what I would say to Noah. You just need to speak from the heart, Marcel. I smiled as I thought of the night as we had our first kiss, and how alive and happy I felt. I thought about that day he was drowning. I thought about the day where we met at the fish market, and the night at the alley. Noah was really a breath of fresh air. What are you smiling about? Someone said, and I instantly recognized the voice as Noah's. You, Noah, I said. Oh, he said. He was really still angry with me. Noah, if there was a way I knew all the languages in the world, it would be to say I'm really sorry for what I had done. I hope you can find it in your heart. I was talking when I was suddenly cut short. Where did you get that line from? He asked. He caught me. Google? I replied and he chuckled. Look, Noah, I really wanted to say I'm sorry. What I did was wrong. I've been through a lot, Noah. Everyone goes through a lot, Marcel. What's special about you? He asked. Nothing is, I said, and there was a quietness. We were now looking at the river. You know you met me twice in the boat at this river? You know why you met me twice in my boat at this river? I asked, breaking the silence. Why? I was planning on drowning myself, I said. What? He exclaimed. Why? I hit rock bottom, and my life was total shit. I thought the only solution was to end it. It was because there was no hope or reason to live. Until I met you. Trust me, this is not from Google. You saved me, Noah. You saved me twice. 3 times, actually, when I count that day in the alley, I said. He muttered and failed to complete his words. I'm not the real hero. You are, Noah. You gave my life a whole new meaning. I thought there was no reason to live, but I found a new one, and that was you. I said with emphasis, I love you. I really do love you. If you're a dream, then I don't want to wake up. I love... Shut up, Noah said, and pulled me into a kiss. I couldn't tell how long we kissed, but I could tell you I was in paradise. I found paradise in his lips. We detached from each other to look into each other's eyes, and then a smile appeared on our faces as we hugged. From then onwards, it was heaven every day with Noah. Because of Noah, I stopped drinking alcohol, and coffee became my favorite drink. You could say we lived happily ever after. He cleared all of my debts, but I made him a promise to accept the amount back from me in installments, giving me a second chance to live and giving that life meaning, and being a part of that life was already more than enough for me. It was because of him that I now had not only a life, but the will to live too. The end. Could love be enough reason to stay alive? Thank you for watching. Consider subscribing to become a part of the Rainbow Force. And stay wholesome!